Let's call this meeting to order. Tom was kind enough to send out the minutes from our special meeting. So does anybody have any additions, deletions, or alterations? Giving everyone an opportunity to respond. Oh, and Tom, when we do something like this, do we need to do a roll call?
Yes, we're supposed to for Heather's purposes.
All right, so I'll start. David Bush on the call. Heather, you're next. Nope. Kelly?
Kelly Kearney, present.
Sarah?
Sarah Kramer, present.
Rachel?
Rachel Wellman, present.
Danielle?
Danielle Shelley, present.
Gina?
Gina Morgan, present.
And Jerry?
Jerry Wetchen, present.
Chris Peterson?
Present.
Thank you all. So with that being done, any additions, deletions, or alterations? Hearing none, let's place that on the record.
There was no public audience or public comment.
Perfect. All right, so Tom, is the next item then the RFP?
Hold on, I'm going to select Lori Coppinger. Lori Coppinger is entering the meeting.
That's fine. Let's wait. Hey, Lori, are you with us?
I'm here.
All right, great. So again, part of the roll call, Lori Coppinger has joined us. Lori, we just approved the minutes because we had a quorum before you joined on. All right.
Okay.
All right. So the golf course restaurant lease RFP. Can I run with that, Tom?
Yes, please.
So we want to make sure that all commission members were aware that this is a year that we need to put out an RFP for new vendors. And Maria's done a great job of beginning to organize and making sure that it's uniform, that RFPs are being done now as required by either law or municipal best practices. So we wanted to make sure that our current vendor understood that this is a requirement. This isn't you're doing a great job or you're not doing a great job. This is simply what needs to be done as part of municipal bids. And so I have asked Jerry Wetchen to take the lead on number one, talking to vendors or potential vendors. But even before that, Tom, Jerry, and I have shared a couple of documents about what should the RFP look like. I don't think it's an activity that the entire committee needs to be involved with. If any of you, though, would like to know the details of this, we can certainly form a subcommittee. Right now, I think the subcommittee would probably be Tom, myself, Jerry, and because of Kelly's marketing background, Kelly, and Tom, maybe I have to look to you. Should we at least formally create a subcommittee?
I think that'd be a good idea to do this with myself and the other staff involved.
Okay.
Dave, Sarah was on our last subcommittee when we started looking several years ago. So I might like to ask if she has some availability because she is aware of what we went through last time.
Sarah?
I'm happy to sit on too.
Kelly, are you on board?
I'm in.
Is there anybody else who would like to be involved in this process? So, and here's why I think it's important, is we look at the future of this golf course. We would like to, based on the vision statement that we adopted, we would like to perhaps consider doing things a little differently than we have in the past, i.e. Perhaps a longer term lease with capital improvement participation by the vendor. We haven't had much option in that in the past because we only got one vendor. However, I think with all of the subcommittee's help, and again, I'm going to commend Jerry Wetchen. He's jumped all over this. Thank you, Jerry.
You're welcome, David.
That I think it's our best opportunity We're going to offer it to the current vendor. We're going to offer it to the community because that's what we're required to do by law. With that being said, Tom, may the record or the minutes reflect that we have ready. I'm going to have a vote. All those in favor of creating a subcommittee for the RFP for the vendor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Let's call that a unanimous vote. So thank you all, and I look forward to the process because it really is critical. And Jerry, again, I can't believe how well you jumped on this. And Kelly, it is my understanding that you and Tom have been in communication that we're going to get some professional graphics on this.
Yes, Sage River is going to be diving in next week.
So what we're doing is Jerry was good enough to do some, background check and do some photos and all of showing how busy we are, the services we provide. And what we want to do is create a professional brochure that can then be taken to local vendors and vendors even outside of our community to say, this is a great opportunity. You really should consider it.
What I'll do too, Dave, is I'll send the preliminary draft to our commission members for their information purposes.
And I would encourage everybody to respond to that. There's no magic here. And really, frankly, I got to tell you, the magic is if you go to a restaurant and you like it and you think they might be a potential candidate, tell them about it. Tell them. Call Tom. Call me. The more vendors we have, the better opportunity we have to be successful up there. And that's all we're looking to do.
I also think we're going to be a lot more attractive with the amount of outdoor dining we have available to a potential vendor. There's a lot of restaurants in town that just don't have that.
Well, and especially Jerry with the Corona kid not leaving leaving town yet. I agree. Outdoor dining is what makes people feel more comfortable. So,
David?
Yes.
I'm not fully up on all the requirements for the state of Connecticut, but what is the requirement inside the restaurant? Because there is no social distancing at all.
So what they should be doing, my understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong, is it needs to be 50% capacity. Ideally, they are supposed to be wearing a mask anytime an outsider enters either the vestibule area or the bathroom or the restaurant area.
Who is supposed to be wearing the mask? The person that's coming in or the wait staff?
Wait staff is supposed to be wearing masks during all times of service.
Okay, well, that's not being followed. I can attest to that because I've been up there several times, and the tables are literally, some of them are 3 feet away from each other. So I don't know who is supposed to be kind of policing that and making sure that that's being followed, but it's not. Because I've been up there at least 2 or 3 times, and people are coming in and out, and they're not wearing masks, the general public, to use the bathrooms or cut through, and the tables are very close together. There's no signage saying, where people are supposed to sit. So I asked if we can sit inside or not, and the waitress said, yes, you can sit inside, but there's no guidance and there's no distancing. So I don't know who's supposed to be watching that.
Tom? I assume that would be a re-education to our vendor?
It would be. I mean, he has to follow the guidelines put out by the state and the local health department. If he's failing to do that, that's something he could be cited for. I will speak to him tomorrow, if not later this evening.
Okay.
About that.
And Tom, what I've seen is the waitresses are pretty good about wearing the masks.
Yes. Yes, they are.
They might let the mask slip down a little bit over the nose, and I get it, but I think for our purposes, we must mandate that they follow protocol by the state of Connecticut and the governor.
I've been up the last 2 days, and I didn't see what Lori saw, but certainly,
Dave, can I just chime in? I used to work there when it first opened, so I don't know if it's changed, but it was really small when I worked there. I mean, they have a ton of outdoor space, which I think is just the most beautiful location that needs to be utilized better.
Yeah.
But it's so much potential there, but it is small inside, unless it's changed since opening. But it really is, especially the back. So.
Well, no,
Hey,
the employees, there's no doubt the employees will not be able to social distance in the cooking area. And that's not a requirement. My understanding is not a requirement of the law. What I think, and I appreciate Lori's comments, we got to make sure that the wait staff and, if there's a rainy day, for example, I think outside they've been okay. Lori, when it gets busy, you and I saw each other up there one night.
Right.
Yeah, we weren't 6 feet apart. There's no doubt about it, but they don't require that as it relates to outdoor dining. But
I'm talking about inside. So I don't know all the requirements. So this was just inside. No, the outside to me seems to be really well run. It was the inside. If people come in and want to sit and have a meal, there's no setup where tables are like spaced apart and you can sit here and, you're too close. You can't sit next to each other here. So that was the only concern that I had was the inside.
Dave,
Yes.
it's Chris Peterson.
Hey,
Hey,
Chris.
just real quick, I can shed some light a little bit. Not gospel chapter and verse, but I've been through enough of it through a couple different organizations and also through some town. So you're right. So the inside dining guide is 50% of what would be considered, their normal occupancy. That's dictated by the fire marshal, right? So that's how many people can be in the space dining. As it relates to vestibule, so entry into a common area that leads into dining, whether it be a deck into a dining area or once inside, all patrons must be masked. The staff, full-time staff, regardless of what position they're in, they must be staffed. They must be masked 100% of the time. There is understanding and leeway given that the occupational function doesn't allow for social distancing, which is why they must be masked 100% of the time. Anybody who enters, again, the vestibule or into a dining area that's a patron must be masked until they're seated at their table. Once you're seated at your table with your party, you can then remove your mask, assuming that you are distanced properly. And so it sounds like you've got two converging issues here, which are you have the challenge of people entering the building who are just accessing parts of it that are the non-food area, who are not complying with the general theme of being masked indoors. So you've got people mixing with who are going to the bathroom or the locker room, but they don't feel like they need to. But anybody who's a patron who's going to the food area, food service, conventional restaurant, must be masked as they enter and exit. The last thing I say, all of this is governed locally. You've got two resources who can very quickly, and of course, we're not looking to cite anybody here. Tom,
Right,
certainly,
right.
we're trying to make sure that if we've got an issue, we correct it moving forward.
Right.
And that is, so contact Jennifer Katanis at the health district. She has so you're going to get a much quicker response from her than you are going to from trying to obtain that information for the state, because she has been the one who has been executing the guidelines at the local level for all of our establishments as they've come back online, regardless of what the service that they provide, whether it be food, stores, coffee, retail, it doesn't matter. So Jennifer Katanis, Farmington Valley Health District, she could help that operator ensure that their people are properly trained and that the proper messaging and signage is up for patrons. And then you could also reach out to Main Street Partnership, who also has the very same information and probably might be a resource to come up and do some shadowing and do some training and help out. So those are two resources that I think you guys can lean on very quickly to get that place, squared away.
Great. Thank you.
No, so appreciate that, Chris. Go ahead, Tom.
I'll add that
I saw the mouth open.
our vendor's very aware what the rules are. His restaurant downtown is very well organized. I have a feeling what we're dealing with here is some staff that need some retraining at the farms. We do have a lot of new staff, as you all know. We mentioned that a few weeks ago. They may need some reminders about what the the proper rules are, and I will speak to him about that. But he does know, and he does know they've been managing it well outside of what's going on maybe with these new employees. So I'll address it with him at the soonest possible chance.
And Tom, just sort of like, if we don't have the proper, again, a lot of it's also education of the public as well, right? And if we don't have the proper signage up there that speaks specifically to that space and the usage that is occurring there is different language and such. We work through Maria. We can get the right signage for that. I mean, that applies to that specific space.
Yeah.
No, and Tom, I appreciate what your comments were, because it is a situation. I'm up there a lot, and I got to tell you, the staff generally is trying to serve the customers. Those of us that are golfers don't necessarily bring masks in our golf bags, but a nice gentle reminder, maybe on each of the entrance doors, which I actually already know are there, but people don't really pay attention to. Even a reminder to have him tell his own staff, hey, look at folks, if you're going to have to go to the bathroom, this is what I'd like you to do. We just we don't want to have that photograph where we are the folks that are breaking the town's own rules on this. But I do agree that I think that there's plenty of information. But Tom, I think you just communicated again. A nice reminder always helps.
Yep.
All right. Let's move on, because my goal, I'm only 11 minutes away from my goal, and I'm not sure I'm going to make it.
You'll make it.
Okay. Tom, the Friends of Simsbury Farms golf tournament.
Yeah, I'm going to let Kelly talk about this.
Sure. Land speed record, October 2nd, tribute to retiring golf course superintendent Mike Wallace, hoping that the commission will in some way, shape, or form participate. There's going to be a ceremony at 11 o'clock in the morning. Put it on your calendars. If you're a golfer, come on out and support the farms, because that's essentially where the proceeds go. And also as a nice tribute to Mike, even if you can't make the golf, stop by about 11 o'clock and give him the due, give him what he's due. He's done such a great job.
Are you doing any auction again? Was this the same thing as last year? Or
We're going to do online this year. We're going to do it through Eventbrite. We're going to do everything as much as possible electronic, so we don't have to have a lot of interaction on paper and people standing around, things like that. No dinner. Just going to do coffee in the morning, and then a hors d'oeuvre afterwards if somebody wants to stop by. But nothing formal afterwards.
Kelly, I'm working through Brian to have Brian get all of Mike's peers to get foursomes for the courses that they represent as auction items. And those particular funds will go towards a gift. I think Mike wants to do something at UMass, that we would do something in his name.
Sounds great. Yeah, it's I tell you what, it seems to be pretty well coordinated this year. It doesn't require a lot of heavy lifting. The men's club and this new group, Friends of the Farm, are working pretty well together. So overall, I'd say it seems like it's well on its way, barring anything terrible happening relative to COVID.
Gary, I have a couple of really nice items to, if you would like them for auctioning, but I don't know if that's what you're looking for, or
let Kelly handle that.
Well, I mean, essentially the auction items, they're trying to go large value items so that they don't have a lot of if smaller ones, they're actually going to try and consolidate, put them into packages. So I think everything is welcome. They're going to take and just put them into a grouped type thing. So
okay.
Kelly,
yes.
Kelly, why don't you and I also have a conversation? There are some items that I can think of that I used to grab for the brain injury folks, and they're more local. And I think that even though some of these vendors got hit hard by COVID, they also play golf. So off this call, let's have a chat.
Sounds good.
Chris? And Tom, what I wanted to find out from you just real quick was, as you know, we did a nice gathering for Jerry Toner. However, Jerry was a lifer And, Mike's been with us for a number of years. Is there any discussion of what the town is looking at or thinking about?
Jerry Wetchin, I think was, Jerry, were you involved in this? I've had a conversation with somebody and I can't remember who it was. But the town side, we haven't done anything yet, but it's been
real
it's
quick.
been a busy
If I
year.
could jump in. On that note, Dave, the Friends had discussed framing a flag. So,
No. I need him on that stupid, tractor where he's digging holes and, making sand traps. Come on.
We are going to name the tractor after him.
Are you?
It's good.
well, just to wrap this topic up, my recommendation was that the day he retires, he can come back the next day as a consultant and begin his next favorite remediation project on the course.
Actually, boy, I love that. Now, Kelly, I love that. All right, so we have a lot of time with that, but Kelly, I really appreciate your efforts coordinating all this. Let's go to the basketball court lighting project. Tom, this is on your watch.
Yes. So as you know, 2 years ago when I first started the construction, we were underway with the construction of the basketball courts at Simsbury Farms. There was through the Friends of Simsbury Farms, a benefactor was identified, and that project was significantly accomplished with funds from that benefactor. They've been extremely popular since they opened, and as part of we were approached by the same benefactor this past year about the possibility of adding lights to the courts. As you know, we're doing the lighting project at Simsbury Farms later this summer, early fall. And so we've been working with our consulting engineer to get specs for court lighting. And we will present those findings to the potential donor. And if they are on board, it'll be an add-on to the lighting project, which would be fully funded by the donor. Yes. So the way I envision it, those courts there'll be LED lights, professional court lighting. Both courts will be lit. It'll be the type of lighting where it doesn't have a lot of overspray to the neighboring sites, and it'll be controlled. And this is what we've been working out. It'll basically have a box over there that anybody who would like to use the lights will push the button. They'll go on for 45 minutes to an hour, but they will not stay on past 10 o'clock. That way, nobody has to come into the building. We don't have to worry about having staff there. The lights automatically turn off. If they started at 7, they turn off at 8, and if no one's there, they stay off. It should be relatively low cost with the LED lighting from an operational standpoint going forward, and I think it'd be a really nice amenity for the farms. And I know it'll get used. I know it'll be used.
No, so then I'll jump in. I've been shocked that with all the coronavirus concerns, when we opened those courts. I, on the way to the golf course, have gone by numerous times, sometimes 4, 8 guys. I had other nights where apparently there's a league of some type. There was a ref in a uniform, calling calls and all. And I got to tell you that the idea of this was a donation from a resident who's willing now to think about doing lighting at night, just exactly what the Friends of Simsbury Farms was all about. Jerry Wetchin, thank you, because what a benefit it brought to the town.
I 100% agree with you. So moving on, if you have in your packet, you were given the proposed fee schedule for the ice rink and paddle tennis this winter. The only recommended change is that we are going to go up, proposing to go up on the daily fees for public skating sessions. Those fees, as you can see from your chart, have not gone up. Actually, I think 2013 was the last fee increase, and our minimum wage increases have, it's basically our kids are making $2 to $3 more an hour since 2013.
Do I have a motion to approve the fees as proposed by Tom Taberski and his department?
I make them.
Kelly Kearney, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I see there, Sarah. Yeah, Tom, totally appropriate. I appreciate your keeping the other costs where they were. Yeah, you need to do that. Minimum wage has changed. All right. Simsbury 350.
Very quickly, As you know, we are not having the 350 year, that banner year with celebrations year round that we thought we would be having at this point. In light of that, the 350 committee is still planning to celebrate the town and our 350 years, and in a number of different ways. We're kind of pivoting a little bit. They are planning tentatively for 2 of the movies in the park in September. To be tentatively the 2nd and 4th Saturdays in September. And then you're going to hear something soon about a 350 steps of Simsbury's history that will involve locations around town and a large display at the Simsbury Meadows location as well. I don't want to spill the beans because it hasn't been announced yet. But.
No, exactly. Do the right thing there. Don't let all the information out. So
that's what's going on with Simsbury 350. There'll be some more things over the winter and spring, but you'll have you'll let them put their plans, make them finalized, and then we'll announce that out. But we will celebrate the town's birthday. It's just going to be a little bit different than we all imagine.
If any of you have not gone out yet to see the various statutes, because this year they really are spread out more than they were before, I encourage you to do so. I invited another couple that the guy in my wedding party lives down the southern part of the state, and we had a great time. We went out, we saw the statutes, we did outdoor dining, all very safe, all very fun. So the town, I commend them. That was part of 350. Just let's take advantage.
Okay.
All right. So Kelly Kearney continues.
Well, you know what? Good news, folks. I have nothing to add on the flower front.
I'll add for Kelly. Following our last meeting, I prepared a letter to the town manager, a memo basically recapping what was discussed regarding the downtown beautification. The town manager is going to review that letter and follow up with some proposals that she will identify as maybe a way to enhance our downtown area. So we'll be hearing more about that in the coming weeks.
I don't want to extend the meeting, but Kelly, I'd really like to know, would a substitute project for you be that the new lampposts at the farms have the flowers throughout?
Do you want my honest
opinion? Are you
opinion?
determined to be downtown?
Do you want my honest opinion? I don't want to drag this out, but the reason I brought this up initially was I feel like flowers downtown are an enhancement to the town's character, and it's an enhancement to the visibility that the town brings to the surrounding area. And certainly when people are coming in and looking at Simsbury as a place to live, I'll bring it right to it. I think of Woodstock, Vermont. I think of just the beautiful downtown area, and I think Simsbury has it could be a close approximation to Woodstock with a little bit of work, and I think it's with a little bit of work, the payoff would be really well worth it. So, if possible, I would stress downtown, but if it's not doable, it's not doable.
Got it. Any other comment on that?
I agree with Kelly. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, it would be beautiful. I think we've talked a lot about some of the drawbacks with the banners, but it is so charming downtown, I think. And to make it even, people come there, there's baseball games going on, people are coming from out of town. So
it's just on the wish list, Dave. It's not the, at some point, I realize maybe the year of the COVID is probably not the year to tackle this, but at some point down the road, just would love to be able to discuss it as a group.
No, and I agree entirely. And I think then I hate subcommittees, but to me, it would be another discussion where at least maybe we get, for example, Kelly, you, myself, the representatives of Main Street Partnership and the Chamber, even the Rotary, to sit down and say, all right, what are you making on the banners? What's it going to cost Tom to maintain a bunch of flowers?
Great call. Can
you guys cover that cost? I think it's a great discussion to have. I just think you're right. This is not the year to have it.
Fair enough. Yep. And I echo that. So,
and this is what I like about you, Kelly, is you're like that little kid that keeps tugging, just says, hey, did you forget about me? Did you forget it? So you keep tugging, man. You keep reminding us.
That's how I finally got my wife to say yes. Come on.
Wow, did we digress on that one? Hey, Tom, how about summer programs?
Everything's going well. The pool has been as with the heat wave. The pool's been at our limited capacity the last pretty much the last 10 days, I guess. Even going back to July 2nd, July 4th weekend, we've been very busy. We've been snake bit a few times with that later 5 to 8 session, but overall, the process is working. Those of you who have been up there have seen it. I think our staff has done a phenomenal job of managing it. Our guards, our full-time staff, our maintenance staff. It's really working as smoothly as you could possibly hoped it would have been back in May when we kind of dreamed this all up. And I think the public has been very appreciative. We get emails and comments all the time. The one issue we've had is if you did not buy a season pass, you have not really been able to get into the pool much the last week or so due to the high demand from the season pass holders. I think we anticipated that there'd always be a few spots left, but it just depends. I mean, with the heat, everybody's just trying to get in. We have inched the capacity up to what we think is our max. It's about 175 to 185 people per session. But again, those have been selling out, by residents within sometimes 6 hours from the time it's gone open. Those spots are full. So it shows, but we do rely on the season pass income to make that operation work. So it's just a victim of our own success to some extent. So,
Chris?
Sorry.
Tom, quick question. Yeah. Thank you. You just mentioned that you guys just bumped up to capacity. I have not been paying attention at the state level. Is there a potential another capacity laxing at the state, or do you think this is what it is for the next month? I mean, that's essentially what we have left, right?
Yes, I think we are what we are. We initially started at a little bit lower capacity to make sure we work out all the kinks. As you know, we're doing the spots on the deck per group. So we kind of had to feel our way through it for the first couple of weeks to make sure we had the right number of 4 spaces, the right number of 5-person spaces, that kind of thing. And just get the staff and the public used to the process. So, where we've been at 165, we started off at 165, we went to 175, 185 is probably the most we can get in there. We really can't do any more than that without reducing social distancing. And our staff and the public have been really good about following the guidelines. We had lowered our mask age limit down to 2. So 2 and above has to wear a mask. Everybody's been very good about it. And again, we've had knock on wood, it's been running very smoothly, no issues. And I anticipate that we wouldn't have any issues going forward. The process is really working out. We also have limits, Chris, not only with the number of people that are on the deck, but the state has limits for the number of people that are in the pool. So it's like we're dealing with two, each pool has a limit of X number of people. So we're monitoring that as well. So, we could have, if we were able to squeeze 15 more people, we might not be able, on the deck, we might not be able to put those people in the pool. So.
Gotcha. And one last quick question. As I watch my dog here run in and out of every stream he can find.
Hey, put that dog on a leash, man.
No, it's the resort here. It's there's off leash with a behaved dog. So we had an unfortunate event last year. Any chance we're going to bring back the pooch plunge or whatever we called it to cap off the season?
There are no plans to do it this year. However, once our fencing project is done in the fall, I anticipate that we would be doing that again next year.
Hey, Tom, I have a question about Memorial. I saw the other day you said that in the afternoon, you opened it up. Are you going to be doing that again sometime, or is that just a special thing because of heat wave?
We'll be able to do it on a heat wave. If we can, it'll be done again on a heat wave. It's not cost effective for us to do that when we have Simsbury Farms open at the same time.
Right.
But when the demand is high enough, we would open it up. It's we can only, because of that, the way that pool deck is laid out, Danielle, and there's not a lot of room to space people out. So we can really only get about 30 to 40 people in there and space everybody out appropriately. So it's it has to be. We did
cost
it
effective. I get it.
because it was the right thing to do that day. So when we can do it, we will try to do it again. If we run into another issue like we've had, we will try to do it. We also have to have staff too. Most of our part-time kids are working close to 40 hours a week, 30 to 40 hours a week now. So it gets even less cost effective when they're on overtime.
Of course.
So
yeah.
I do want to commend Tom and his staff, though. So we all saw, I believe most of us saw the email about Memorial Pool. Tom and I had been in contact, and that sold out in almost record time.
40 minutes.
There you go. And so what it said to me was, if Tom and his staff can find this glimmer, this little sliver of opportunity, they're finding it. And I even asked the same question you asked, Danielle, which is, well, why was it only 40 people? Are you kidding me? And yet Tom has to work in the parameters that the state have given him. And just, so I realize we're on a Zoom call, but we're being recorded, and I want every opportunity I can to commend Tom and his staff for the parameters they've been given. They have done an absolutely fabulous job. I realize residents may complain. Some of us may hear those complaints. Please just understand that we've been given limitations that we have to work within. So, Tom, great job. And I do agree, though, if there's a chance to open it up, even if we lose a couple of bucks, the residents appreciate it. I'll finish it off with a real quick, I played golf with a guy the other night. His family had gone 3 days in a row to Simsbury Farms, 5 to 8. They have a 14-year-old daughter that likes to meet her friends there. And he couldn't believe how well organized your staff was, how well sanitized he observed, not told, he observed things going. And we were with we were a foursome, and the rest of us don't have kids in the pool anymore. And he said that his wife had already started telling other people that this operation is just unbelievable. He felt like, get a load of this, he felt like he was at Disney. So this is my opportunity with all of us on the call. Thank you, Tom. You're doing a great job.
Yeah. And I'd like to second that from the, parent perspective. Definitely. Yeah, I'd like to second that from the parent perspective with young children. I hear nothing but positive, really positive. I haven't heard one negative in any way. So thank you.
Yeah, when I've been there, everyone has echoed that they just feel like this is a small piece of normal right now, and everyone's really happy. I did have a question. I'm just wondering about, if people do have plans that change, which happens when you sign up at 8 a.m. one day and then the next day something comes up and they can't go. Is there any mechanism for people to cancel that so someone else can have their place?
Yes, they can actually call the office prior to the start of that swim session, and okay. we will take them out and open up those spots. I know personally, I did it for someone today, this morning. So that's it's a little harder on the weekends when we don't have somebody manning the phones. But the weekdays, if we're available, we take the call, we take them right out, and we thank them for letting us know. Okay. We want to get everybody we can in there. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Great.
And Tom, that cannot be done online.
It cannot be done online. It's just it's a website issue. We don't want people canceling out of programs on their own all the time. It would mess up. It would really put a kink in the works.
Nope, no problem. All right. Unless there's more on that, let's finish this thing up with just a quick update on the master plan, Tom.
Yes, following our joint meeting with the Open Space Committee last Friday, I have today I finished putting all of the feedback together for the consultants. Those who emailed me, those who spoke on the joint call, all of that feedback has been entered into one document. I passed it to the town manager today for her review. And once I've gotten that back from her, I will distribute it to the steering committee for one final look. And then it's going to the consultant. Our presentation for the Board of Selectmen was going to be August 10th for that. I don't believe that's a realistic goal based on the amount of feedback we got back from the Joint Commission meeting and the email feedback I have. We're close. I think it's becoming a great document. But if we really want to do this right, I'd like to give the consultants and everybody, the amount of time it's necessary to do the work. Due to the availability ability of the limited Board of Selectmen schedule in the summer, it looks like we may be pushed back to late September, early October for the next available time slot to do a presentation in front of that board. I don't think that's it's not a bad thing as long as we do this, as long as we're putting the time into doing this right. And I think we have the time to do that now.
Yeah, we've been doing this long enough. Let's make sure we finish it off right. There is no reason, August, everybody's got something else to do in August, even if we can't go to Florida or we don't want to go to Florida, so that's great.
Yeah,
I think,
we'll be fine.
yeah, Tom, I think based upon the size of the document alone, giving the Board of Selectmen plenty of time to go read it all and digest that information is going to take a while.
I agree.
So I think if they're going to vote to adopt it and whatever, you're talking October.
All right, that finishes our agenda items. Does any of the members of the commission have any new business that has not been addressed yet?
No, I have sent all the commission members a copy of that draft marketing brochure. It's in your email.
Thank you, Jerry. Look at you being the guy that takes care of making sure everybody knows what's going on.
Well, I got a great guy in Kelly, following up and making sure it's done properly.
Thanks, Jerry. Thanks to Mary Murphy. She's going to do a great job for us.
There we go. On the agenda, it indicated that all of you get the month of August off. So our next meeting is September 24th. I think the one thing I really would like all of you to take to heart, though, is the retirement of Mike Wallace. Pay attention to that date. Sarah, I'm going to pick on you a little bit, that we not only need recognition of Mike, we need participation. I know that you're no longer necessarily as involved, but the golfers up there from the female side. I've already teed my wife up.
I was going to say, if you want to send something, I'll send it to Barb to pass on to everybody. I will chat it up with the group I play with and try to.
I think it's more, Barb can send an email to the entire group. It doesn't matter. It's taking the individual invite that says, let's be supportive. Yep, it's going to cost us $200. So what? Look at how great a golf course we have. So sorry to pick on you at the end here, but yes, I picked on Barb as well. So. Anything else? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Lori, I think had something, Dave.
Oh, Lori.
Oh, this is just a very quick thing. I just want to mention to Tom the new sign at Memorial looks great. Just behind it, if you haven't noticed, that whole raised bed thing is falling apart. The pieces of the wood are falling off. So I just thought I'd mention that, put that on the list of. I know you're not going to do it now, but just that whole huge list we have of things that need to get fixed. That was just going to be one more thing. That's all.
I'll do that. I'll pass that on to Orlando.
Okay.
From the commission, any other comments that need to be taken care of now? All right. Everyone, have a great weekend. Have a great month of August. Chris, enjoy Vermont. Do not let your dog get eaten by a bear. Thanks all.
Take care, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone.